Hello everyone, welcome back to Doomlink's Life Hunts. Today, we are actually playing Portable Third, a game that I don't often play. Has nothing to do with the quality of the game. I think it just has to do with a mixture of A, audience interest, which tends to be rather low for Portable Third, and also possibly the ease with which I can get a group together. I feel like it's not that easy in this game. It could be entirely psychological and not based in reality. I might just have this impression that it's difficult to get a group together when actually it's not that hard, or at least not as, or rather not any harder than games that I play more often than this. So I don't know what it is precisely that prevents me from playing this game more often than I do. It just tends to get put on the back burner, or it gets relegated to the back of my mind when there is no real sensible explanation as to why. We are currently doing a drink quest, which was selected for us by the random hunt quest generation system from Hunsterverse. And, the monsters in question, or rather, I didn't even realize it was an arena quest. Well, I don't have smoke bombs, so we'll see how we go. I love how I'm angle pouring that. It's fucking wine, don't mind. Angle pouring wine into a glass. It's strange habits, you know. These guys are just going to have to go for their lives while I organize the live stream, because I have yet to complete doing that. I've yet to complete the setup process. It really only at this stage involves me getting my chat visible. So many extra steps now, courtesy of recent Twitch updates, to get my live stream up and my chat visible. The drink today is Boronia. It is, I would presume, a sort of Spanish style. It's not actually Spanish, but it's a spiced fortified wine. It's quite nice. That's the label, Boronia. Largely inexpensive, because wine seems to be exempt from the usual alcohol tax in Australia, so you can get pretty cheap wines. And ones that are quite nice. All very good, it's one after the other. Let me just make sure that everything's fine with the live stream. Yeah, that all looks fine. Let me just, if I can, remove the chat, because it's fucking ugly. Alright, there we go. I've been gone for a week, and I do thank you for your patience in waiting for another recording. I've been gone for a week because I was away in the Australian outback. Yes, I was away in the Australian outback, I say for a second time. I was there for about 5 days. I'm back now, possibly with a little bit more of a tan, I don't know. It may not even be visible. It depends on the white balancing that I do for the live stream as to whether or not I look tan. Basically, white balancing will introduce more or less orange depending on the setting that I select, and I would suspect that it just looks normal, but I might be a little bit more tan. There you go. So this is again a high rank quest, and it's already halfway done, so I'm glad we didn't have 4 people, and that's something that you don't often hear me say. I don't know if having 4 people would be good at all. GUI, I don't know whether to call you Graphical User Interface or GUI. I really don't know, but let's just call him Graphical User Interface. I feel like that would be a funny joke. I mean, it's not that funny, but the fact that I'm referring to him in that way is kind of amusing, so let's just do that. Looks like a mixture. In terms of armor, it looks like a mixture of Silver Rathalos and Standard... Oh no, excuse me, it is Alatreon and Standard Rathalos. What about the arms? Silver Rathalos. So it's Silver Rathalos, Alatreon, and Standard Rathalos. If you want me to get really pedantic, and, well, not pedantic, but specific, it is Silver Rathalos Greaves, Elatrion Waste, Silver Athlos Gauntlets, Standard Rathlos Chest, and Standard Rathlos Cap. Is it worth putting down bombs? Not when he's aiming through the trap like that, with ranged attacks. That's not a good idea. It's an excellent way to blow myself up, but it's not going to achieve much else. Alright, let's get in position for some damaging charge attacks. Welcome back to Portable Third, everyone. I'm happy to be recording it again. Maybe I should do more Portable Third. Maybe if there isn't much of an interest in it, I should cultivate the interest by giving you more of it, pig-headedly. I don't even know if that's entirely accurate nowadays. It was in the past. It was absolutely the case that I would do, say, 3 recordings in a row, each of a different Monster Hunter game, and the Portable Third one would always have significantly less viewers. It didn't matter where in those list of, as I say, for example, 3 recordings it was uploaded, didn't matter what, like, chronological order it was in, it would always get less interest, and I don't know why. I don't really understand it, but as I say, it might be an outdated observation. It may not actually reflect the current viewership of my channel. So, yeah. I should mention also, the reason why I'm playing this game is because Star Fury, one of my viewers, actually recommended that I do it. Or requested that I do it. And of course, me being me. If someone's actually requesting for me to do a game, I'm going to be more inclined to do it, because I'm happy to play all of them, you see. Or at least try to play all of them. So, if in addition to a sort of... Well, no, what I should say is that it's almost a random decision already. So if someone's requesting it, I'm even more inclined to do it, because it's out of my hands. It's sort of why I enjoy doing the random hunt system. So what we're doing here in this recording, just to clarify, is we're taking advantage of a command which you can put into Hunsterverse, which generates, or rather, gives you a random quest that you can depart on. I find that to be a lot more fun than making my own decision as to which quest to do. Similar idea. If something is making the decision for me, the idea is more alluring. The quest, or rather, well, the quest, when it comes to the previous example and for the current example, where I'm having someone request a game for me, the game becomes more alluring if it's been suggested by another person. Yeah, give me that hot spring ticket. I did specifically grind for hot spring tickets, by the way. You may actually find yourself inclined, for various reasons, to deliberately grind hot spring tickets. I can tell you that it's annoying. It's really annoying. Alright, what's our next quest? Let's find out. Because that was really fast. It's just going to be a single steel Uragan, and it looks like what's his name? Asesino? He seems quite eager to just do his own thing. What we're going to do is completely ignore him. And then hopefully he can work out for himself how things are actually conducted in a room. It is not first come, first serve, and it is not, I'm going to post a quest and then, you know, effectively beg for assistance. It's communicate and establish what's being done in the room, and then wait your fucking turn. If he had actually looked to see what was being done in the room, he would realize it was a random hunt's room. But he didn't do that. So, life goes on. Let's bring a gun lance. I've got 2 different options here. I can either have one with sharpness skills or one without. These days, I'm almost obliged to bring a sharpness skill gun lance set because I just can't countenance a lack of sharpness skills with a gun lance, because your sharpness drops so rapidly while using it That to not have any sort of sharpness skill, to be honest, is miserable. How about a dragon gun lens? No, let's bring poison, that's a good idea. It is an Uragan after all. The Star Fury, I'm just going to stick to high rank. I hope that you weren't requesting that I do Portable Third with the expectation that I would help you. Oh, we're not joining that. Silly me. I'd be happy to do your quests if you were at high rank level, but as I think I've established very clearly in previous videos, up until this point, I'm only doing stuff at like the highest rank of any game that I'm playing if I'm in the Random Hunt series. What's the quest again? Steel Uragans is probably this. There we go. Amidst a dark crater is what it's called. I don't like that word, amidst. I like among, in amongst. Although I think, wasn't it decided at some point that amongst was not to be used anymore? I feel like there was a decision. I don't know who makes these decisions, but there was some kind of decision maybe about 15 to 20 years ago that amongst was just not acceptable English anymore. I don't know what that's about, but maybe in amongst is not a good example of a word that would be more appropriate than... What's this again? Amidst. Amidst. I don't even know if that's a... There are so many ways that you can... I guess there are so many alternative words to that that it almost sounds incorrect. Amidst. Well, sounds gross. Yeah, AJ, I didn't really need a reminder of that, but thanks for your contribution either way. Hello, Rome. Glad that you're all here. Again, my apologies for not having recorded in the last week. I was in remote Australia, toiling with emus and kangaroos and other things. Yes, you are free to make reference to the emu war. I'm just sort of getting in touch with my... Oh, fuck me sideways. Do you know who caused that? Do you know who caused that communication error? It was definitely the guy who randomly turned up and posted his own quest. I have little doubt of that. But, you know, I was just getting in touch with my my roots. Feeling what it was like to engage the emus in combat. Yeah. Emu bombs. Oh, hey Tavo, good to see you. Have you made a Discord account yet? When you are minded to make a Discord account, I will invite you to the server. Have you branched out into more Monster Hunter games yet? Just for reference, Tavo Show is someone that I've been playing with in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for about 6 years now, at least. And on and off. And he found my channel just through his own research, I suppose, and has played with me in 3 Ultimate quite a lot. Are we going to wait for that guy who caused our disconnection before? Look, I'll give him 60 seconds. If he doesn't come at that point, or by that time, I will depart without him, because I don't really want to run the risk of getting another communication error. You made one today? Well, while I'm waiting for this person to come, and he may or may not come at all, I will send an invite link. Just bear with me. That's good. I opened Discord and only one server is visible. That's That's great. It just happens to be the one that I need. The one that I'm going to create an invite link for. Okay, now it's gone and kicked back into action. All of my servers have appeared. Where am I inviting to? The welcome channel. How do I create a fucking invite? Just need to remember how to do it. Why is it not more straightforward? Let's depart. I'm sure I can work it out. Here we go. That still doesn't let me do one? Invite, there we go. Invite, okay. Copy link. Excellent. Don't worry, I worked it out. Alright, there's your invite link to the server. I will need to ingratiate you by applying a role to your Discord so that you may participate, which I will do once this live stream is over. No problem, Tavo. I'm glad that you're keeping in contact. Oh yeah, I wasn't able to actually complete what I was explaining in relation to Tavo Show. The only game that he actually played in Monster Hunter was 3 Ultimate, and the servers have now shut down, so almost our only point of communication outside of Twitch has been blocked, so we are now re-establishing communication. Of course, my recommendation to him is absolutely to get back into Monster Hunter. I would say probably the most comfortable game for him to play at this stage would be the one that I'm playing right now. Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. Try is also an option, but it's so similar to 3 Ultimate. And possibly harder to play, or harder to set up anyway, that Portable 3rd would stand to be a better choice. The main similarity, of course, between Try and 3 Ultimate would be the offline content. But also, you've got a very similar roster of monsters here in Portable 3rd versus Monster Hunter Try. But at least for the offline of Portable 3rd, you've got a completely different village. Yeah, keep in contact with the youth. Do it, man. P-Berry is a little bit concerned that you're dabbing in 2024, but hey. The reality is, if you were dabbing at any point, if it is now uncool, it means that you were always uncool. That's the way I approach things. Don't follow trends, just be yourself. That's the way I do it. There's no such thing as something that's only temporarily cool. It's either an evolution or a devolution. That's it. And if dabbing is not an improvement in how human beings communicate with one another, I'm not going to be doing it, okay? Hello, Yells. Ugh. I almost can't believe that was so quick. I feel that we're almost too strong. Are you getting that feeling as well? I'm getting that feeling. I suppose, seeing as though I do have the ability to do so, I will organize Tavo Show's roles now. I'll give you server member, and also the role that will have you, whatever it's called, notified of my live streams. Which is always opt out, by the way. You don't have to be notified of my live streams. You will be opted in automatically by my hand. Quite literally. No, that's fine. You can use my footage in that way, that's alright. I mean, I'm assuming it was relating to your own gameplay. But, yes, you can create a montage of my footage if you want. Yeah, unless you mean a montage of my stuff, which is also okay. This is acceptable. I'm not that, I don't hold my content so abreast that I don't let anyone edit it in any way. I've already had some really terrible clips done of me, in Hunsterverse actually. Not really terrible, just ones that are done really unprofessionally and not in a non-funny way. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, an attempt was made to do a funny clip of me, and then it ends up looking ridiculous. And it almost becomes representative of my content, you know? Because it's me. But no, it's not me. Alright, next random hunt. Giganox. Oh, it looks like we've had someone snipe. Oh no, we haven't had a sniper. We didn't actually depart with the fourth person that time. So Yui is our new fourth hunter, which is fine. So Giganox, let's do dual blades. Probably keeping with Wyvern Strife now that I think about it. Yeah. Let's just do it. Cyclone. I don't think you'll ever see me use Cyclone. I seem to recall that was something that I made while going through the ranks. It's not really that enjoyable to use. Like, raw dual blades? No. Not very fun. Yeah, the internet never forgets. Well, to be fair, no video was ever made about me causing Gaijin Hunter to get kicked for using a Prowler, but yes, the internet never forgets. I've always quite forwardly disavowed my involvement there. You know, I didn't even know who the fuck he was at the time. Well, I knew who Gaijin Hunter was, I just didn't know who this random cat was. And my friend was like, kick him quick. And I did it, so... My involvement was not as intimate as one might initially suspect. I didn't identify who he was and decide to remove him. That didn't happen. I've got nothing against that guy. I can say categorically that I've probably only ever watched 2 of his videos. And this was when Monster Hunter 4 was first releasing. I can tell you that Gaijin Hunter was the person back when Monster Hunter 4 was releasing in Japan. He was the person who was almost translating it into English for us. So he spoke Japanese, and he was communicating a lot of information that we couldn't really decipher if we couldn't speak Japanese. So he was almost like our go-between, our middleman, our translator. So yeah, he absolutely was an asset to the community at that time. And I suspect that that's how he installed himself in the community in the way that he had done. Gave him a platform, and then as I understand it, he became quite helpful to people just getting into the series at that time. And then in years after that point. But yeah, my experience with him was not, like, I didn't have any issue with his content. I don't know why people rip on him in the way that they do, but I just know that an entire server of Monster Hunter players that I was quite close to were cheering me to the rafters for having kicked him, and it wasn't a pleasant sort of a response. It was You know, obviously warm towards me, but very, very cold and aggressive towards him. And you know, what I had done was absolutely not motivated by that. I just want to make that clear. Oh. I was actually tempted to use Lance against this Giganox. Because one thing that I discovered somewhat recently was that Giganox is extremely fun to use a Lance against. I don't know if you've ever done it before. You probably have, but maybe you didn't really pay attention to how fun it was. I guarantee you, if you pull out a Lance and fight a Giganox, it is some of the most fun that you'll have with a Lance. Because something about countering this monster with a Lance is both very satisfying and also very easy. He is so aggressive, but also easy to counter, which means that he almost can't touch you when you're using a Lance, if that makes sense. What would normally be an attack that would cause you trouble can instead be mitigated with ease with a Lance. And your DPS is uninterrupted. Also, one thing about the Lance that can be annoying is the lack of mobility. But this monster always stays close to you if you're in his sights. He deliberately gets close to you. So that actually works quite well with Lance. When he does his animation to get closer to you, it actually doubles as an attack. He sort of runs towards you. But if you're using a Lance, again, you can just counter that. And then you don't have to worry about closing that distance again. He's already here, and you've countered his forward maneuver. So there's it's like a dance that takes place when you're fighting Giganox with a Lance. And it's a dance that you are always one step ahead of him while performing. It's really nice. I'm sure I'll be able to demonstrate that soon. I just didn't feel like doing it this time because it felt like the obvious choice. It feels like the choice that I've taken every time I've fought a Giganox in recent recordings. Oh. Thought I was going to be off target there for a second. Good knockdown. Just a reminder that we are hunting in high rank, not low rank. These quests are coming to an end very quickly, but the monsters in this game are very weak. They really are, compared to the hunters. Well, that's it for that hunt. I hope that I can get some quests on the board that take a little bit more time to complete than that. But we'll see how things go. I may actually just take an executive decision and just post in a Cantor or something like that. Because monsters like a Cantor and Okanlos, they will still give you a reasonable fight. It'll still take about 8 to 10 minutes to kill him. And to kill both of them. When you're playing with a team like this. So I might just do that. The waist piece is Damascus. It was the same in Monster Hunter Tri. No, AJ, we're not doing Puppy. Although we could. Yeah, do you know what? Let's do Puppy. Let's just amalgamate the two fights that I was considering to post. A Cantor and a Carlos. I'm sure this team can handle it. I've no doubt, actually. Yuri looks like he's going to go for a post, or she, whoever the fuck. But that's not how things work around here. We're doing random hunts. And if it's not random hunts, it's whatever I feel like doing. Well, compare the male waist piece of, say, Rathian to the female waist piece of Rathian. Same idea, like, you get a really big skirt. So yeah, Damascus is definitely based on that. Puppy phone. No. Now, just to be clear, Puppy Fight is not in any way official. This is a Hunsterverse DLC quest, which is custom made, and it is acceptable to save after doing it and everything like that. It's acceptable within the community, and often departed on. But it's it's an interesting hunt. I'm sure the team can rise to the challenge. Beat up the monsters. These motherfuckers stole my mountain. Beat them up. It seems Ukanlos and Ukantor have stolen Amatsu Mountain. Help take back the mountain. Possibly not official Capcom DLC. Possibly not. The last time I would have done Puppy Fight on camera probably would have been like 3 years ago. Something like that. Yeah, this is an Amatsu request. Client Amatsu. Very good. Now, GUI, in other words, graphical user interface, his choice of weapon is appropriate largely because of the purple sharpness. The dragon is not going to be as effective against Ukanlos, but the thing is, the Elatrion weapons are so strong that... Sorry, there is no purple sharpness in this game. The white sharpness. The amount of white sharpness that you get with these weapons, and just their general damage that they deal, means that even if the weapon is not elementally effective, it's still a good choice. It's one of the annoying things about the Elatrion weapons in 3rd gen. This is great. There's actually a typo in this, which Yells pointed out. Ukanalos. What the fuck? Honestly, whoever made this, and I think it was Black Fox, like, what are you doing, man? Of all the things to typo, you typo the monster's name? Jesus. It is ironic, though. I never actually noticed that until today. Until it was pointed out to me. Yes, P-Berry, it is precisely as you suspect. Elastic Binder. I like that name. Elastic Binder. I don't quite think that's an appropriate term, but anyway. Whoa, what's going on? Yeah. This is going on. Who do we start with? Usually it's a Cantor, isn't it? That's usually the protocol. Start with a Cantor. Ooh, I'm jumping. Stop it. Ow. So yeah, we'll start with the Cantor, and then hopefully Carlos just leaves us alone. The loadout that I'm using is basically your equivalent to the popcorn gun lance of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. It's shelling focused. Okay, well, that would not have been official DLC, Hossein. Not allowed while playing on Hunsterverse. Sorry, Yuri. Fucking hell. Quite comical from my perspective that you ended up getting shot away like that, but... yeah, very difficult for me to avoid. Oh, that's alright, Tavo. I do recognize that about my content. It can be polarizing, like the way that I conduct live streams, particularly when playing with people that I find to be possibly a little bit simple. It can either provide a lot of entertainment to a person, or it can completely turn them off from what I do. The guidance that I take personally is to just be myself. That's the principle upon which that I started doing recordings in the first place. You know, I come from the old Let's Playing days, right? Where it was literally just you, the game, and your voice. It's just you sharing your experience. So, you know, whether it's considered to be a nasty personality trait or not, to shit on people who are quite demonstrably stupid, that is me. So that's what I do. I try to be as fair as I can, but that's probably of little consolation to a person who is subjected to my venom. But I do try to be fair. It is something that's in my mind. But it does provide a lot of entertainment to some people. He's bouncing with an Elatrion weapon. I didn't even notice that. But whoever that is, they need to maybe aim for better parts of the monster. Well, I'm glad that you look at it that way, Hossein. I don't shit on people unwarranted, is what you say. I mean, everyone obviously has a different idea of what is warranted and what isn't. But I just want to make it very clear, I do have my own criteria. And I definitely, I mean, if you watch carefully, I do definitely try to give people the benefit of the doubt more often than not. But, yeah, it's a style. And some people appreciate it and some people don't, but do you know what? It's me. And I can take some confidence that I'm doing the right thing by focusing on that point. It is the fact that I am being my authentic self. I think I was... oh, that is a terrible combo. So, while I was doing a Wyvern Fire, I was hit by Ice Blight and then hit by an Acantor Roar, so... that's a pretty nasty combo. There's our elastic binder, as it's called. I don't know if that was effective or not. It didn't look very effective. Oh, what a great idea, P-Berry. Yes, I should be using this ledge for mounting attacks. What am I thinking? Wyvern Fire. Come on. I will sharpen up just for good measure. As you can see, this is manageable, it's just... it can be chaotic. Oh, fuck. Ow. Could have been hit by that, fortunately was not. There's not much you can do about that once you get hit by that. Normally you'll die. One can also hope that these monsters will harm each other. One does hope. This is my loadout, by the way. Artillery King, load up, sharpness +1, and guard boost. This is my shelling-focused Gunlance loadout, with the bamboo Gunlance. When I was talking about grinding for drink tickets before... Sorry, hot spring tickets, I think. Is it hot spring? No, I think it is drink tickets. Whatever it's called. You know, the tickets that you get for drinking things, right? When I was talking about that, it was actually in reference to the forging of this exact Gunlance. And, yeah, it takes a while. I'm assuming it's for all of the bamboo weapons. You can also see whether or not your Wyvern Fire has charged, based on the tip of the bamboo. So if the tip of your bamboo is sharp, it means that you can actually do your Wyvern Fire. Ow. If it is, however, broken on the end, it means that your Wyvern Fire is still charging. Let me try and get that all. Oh, Jesus. No! Graphical user interface did not survive, unfortunately. If you're wondering, by the way, why people do this quest, it's actually because when you complete it, you get a shitload of charms. All of them are time-worn, as I recall. So for a lot of people who play Portable Third, this is their strategy for grinding out talismans. I've definitely made use of it in the past. Yuri, fucking hell, man. Yuri is just randomly placing bombs now. Yeah, why are you kicking them? Throw a paintball or something. I find that to be really strange behavior. Just dropping bombs and then kicking them. Do you have that little confidence in your own damage that you find that to be a better way of attacking the monster? Because I can tell you categorically that if you're using a greatsword, particularly the Yukanlos greatsword, you're going to be dealing a lot more damage if you're getting consistent level 3 charges off than by dropping bombs and kicking them. That's stupid. That should be treated as like bonus damage when you've got the opportunity, not as your main source of damage. That's daft. This is definitely a custom quest. This is not official. I made that clear at the start, and I will make that clear again for those who did not pick up on that fact. This is not an official Capcom DLC quest. This is custom. But it is an official Hunsterverse DLC quest, so it is acceptable to host this quest when playing on Hunsterverse. The way Hunsterverse works is that there are rules in place for the custom quests that you depart on. You can only depart on sanctioned quests, in other words, quests that have been created by Hunsterverse, or quests that have been vetted to ensure that there are no unfair rewards. Because obviously if you're making custom quests, and I think what I'll say is that this was a huge issue in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So if you depart on custom quests, you may end up getting really unfair rewards that completely change the way that you progress through the game. This became a huge issue in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, circa 2015, when Dazding released his save editor, or not save editor, sorry, quest editor. Now, when you can edit your quests to have whatever fucking rewards you want, it will result in people taking advantage of that. That's exactly what happened with the Dazding custom quests. So there is a precedent for it in Monster Hunter. And that was on the 3DS, like the actual system. Because what he had devised was so easy to actually load onto your hardware that it completely ruined the online of For Ultimate. Completely. I think we can agree that I did my utmost to get out of the way of that. Yes, this location is exclusive to Amatsu. There is no other monster in this game that will officially make use of this location. Ow. Yeah, so that would have been a custom quest that was made using Dazding's thing, AJ. Or perhaps not, but definitely if that were a custom quest that people were often posting when you played online, that would have been introduced by that tool. So, yeah, in other words, Hunsterverse has taken the step of only allowing official Hunsterverse custom quests to be departed on. If you do play on Hunsterverse and post random custom quests that are not approved, you do run the risk of being banned. Bans are not permanent unless you try to evade them. If you're banned, you have to wait 30 days. However, if you were actually caught doing a custom quest, that save file will no longer be valid for use on Hunsterverse. The reason being that you may have actually made use of various custom quests to get an unfair advantage over other hunters. So you'll have to discard that save and make a new one. I'm fairly across these details nowadays because I'm the one who enforces them. But, yeah. Oh, such a clean reload. Now I suspect that despite the fact that we've been focused very much on a Cantor there, Ukanlos will be far from being at full health. So it's not going to take another 10 minutes for us to complete this quest. We should have this taken care of pretty soon. Yeah, the tower is not in Portable 3rd. The tower doesn't make an appearance in 3rd Gen Monster Hunter until 3 Ultimate. And it's only the arena version of the tower, the single location, not the actual tower locale in its entirety. Sorry, graphical user interface, my apologies. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that was a stupid idea. Yeah, okay. Ukanlos has just dug into the ground. I'm now going to bop up and down in one place, directly in front of where he buried himself into the ground, burrowed into the ground. That quite rightly resulted in me getting hit. If I create a channel point reward for banning Nagakuka in the chat, he's going to get banned for, like, years. Based on the number of people who will redeem that award. That reward. I almost feel bad, but I don't really. Alright, it is definitely time for me to sharpen now. I'm not sure if it's really necessary for us to be flash bombing this consistently. Come on. It's not necessary. It was definitely forgivable, for example, when we're fighting two at the same time. But are we really going to lock down this version? Or this part of the fight? This version. What a strange choice of words. Yeah, AJ, if I introduced a self-mute, definitely Nug Kuka would mute himself. He's done the same thing on Hunsterverse, so I'm sure he would do it here. For those who are not aware, Nug Kuka in my chat developed a little bit of notoriety in Hunsterverse for using the self-mute command to mute himself for, you know, thousands of days, and then he would regret it within about a week's time, and then beg either myself or other moderators to unmute him. And this happened about 3 times. So... he has since gotten around that by leaving the server instead of muting himself. But he will invariably return. So, yeah, if I introduced some sort of muting command, I'm sure he would avail himself of it with considerable alacrity. My apologies, Yuri. I feel like I've hit you a few times, but... yeah, I'm kind of out of potions now. I have to use a max potion probably next time. I don't know if I can even take a hit. Hopefully I can. Thank you, Potato. Many thanks for the... not just resub, but I think... next level of subscription. He's now got tier 2, which means he can do Loom Dink. Is that... oh no, Dink Roll. Which one's Loom Dink? I think Loom Dink is the tier 2 and Dink Roll is tier 1. Something like that. I don't have many rewards. I really don't. Oh god. Well, Peaberry, I think Loom Dink is actually a tier 2 subscription for the Twitch. It did actually initially exist as a Twitch emote. And then I realized, well, why on earth would I not have it on the Discord? So it was added on the Discord later. There we go, there's Loom Dink. My alter ego. There we go, got a knockdown there. I don't know why Yuri is so insistent on aligning himself with me when I've shot him so many times. I'm happy to accept that maybe on occasion I should have taken greater care. in loosing my shots or firing my ammunition when he is in close proximity to me. But surely, if you were on the receiving end on multiple occasions, you would take greater care, but he is not doing that. So I am now no longer going to feel any sort of contrition for hitting this guy, because he's careless and borderline foolish. And we're done. Nicely done. Not too bad. The best hunts that I've done have actually completed around 12 minutes. But that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Thank you for the gift sub, P-Berry. Uh-oh, we've got a hype train going. Oh my god. I believe that I have already carved the Acantor. That's a giant loom dink. Wow. Well, if you didn't have enough of my face already in the live stream, you get more of it in the chat. Enjoy. Chrysos is typing in the chat. In response to that, I have sent my personal favorite emote, which is a a so-called four-dimensional version of the Hyperjoy. That I feel like that's an appropriate response. What is going on? Tal has actually joined in. What's going on? Oh, by the way, here are all your charms. Look at all these. But I think it's appropriate. I feel like the amount of time that you're going to spend in the quest and the challenge that is presented to you does actually make this appropriate. Alright, what do we got? Protection 7, Hearing 2, KO 5, Attack 6. I've actually got a much better version of that, so I'm not going to take it. Okay. Nothing worth taking. Life goes on. Anyway, welcome back, Tal. Good to see you. The live streams have been good. Pretty good. Basically the same as always. Fuck, I don't have much honey. Two nibble snuff. Yells, just real quick feedback. You typoed this. Yells in my chat. That's him now. So he's the one who did all of this random hunt stuff. There's always a little bit of lore to the people who contribute in my chat. So, yeah, he was the one who was responsible for all this, but I can tell you, like, your work on Freedom Unite was much better than Portable Third. Portable Third is, like, rough. Portable Third's really rough. Got nibble snuff here, mate. Thank you, Star Fury. Thank you very much. Alright. P-Berry is now aggressively ripping into Yells for his typo. There you go. Alright, thank you, Tavo, and thank you for tuning in. Glad you're on the Discord now. Two Nibblesnarf. So, ice element. But what will be the weapon of choice? The first person to recommend a weapon type for me to use will decide the weapon type that I use for the next hunt. Because I've decided that I can't make my own decision. Peaberry votes bow. That's actually a good choice. No, Nibblesnarf is primarily weak to ice. I think he is also weak to water. Don't worry, Tal, I'll use Greatsword for the next hunt. I don't often ask for votes, but with the understanding that people will sort of get different delays for the live stream, I try to be accommodating and just I do like one vote, and then the first choice I will do for the next hunt, and then the second and then third choice I will do in subsequent hunts. That tends to be how I do it. Okay, probably spread. I'd like to do spread, so I think if I do load up, that's also going to be Ukanlo's bow. Is that right? Yes, I remember that correctly. Alright, my next weapons are going to be Greatsword and then whatever it's called, Switch Axe. Happy to do that. Alright, 2 Nibblesnarf. Where is that going to be? God knows. Is it a drink quest? Or a hot spring quest? Possibly. Okay. Waiting for it to show up. What does it say in your information that you wrote, Yells? 7-star. 7-star. Now I have to fucking count the... Here we go. 2, 4, 6... Okay, so it should be here, right? Oh, I missed it. That's alright. I was actually fixing to blame Yells for this. Because I'm happy to report, and I don't know if it has actually been fixed, but in years prior, the random hunt actually would give you low rank quests, in addition to high rank quests. Now, I'm not going to comment on it further than this, but let me just say that it was somewhat disappointing to discover that there were high rank quests included in the quest pool. And I have a suspicion that it hasn't been fixed. Just a suspicion. I could be entirely wrong. But I think that maybe it hasn't been fixed. I have not caught wind of it being fixed. It hasn't, okay. It hasn't been fixed. So we are on occasion still going to get some low rank quests included in this random hunt list, which is a little bit worried. That's what I was worried about. I was worried that that was going to be a low rank double Nibblesnarf, but on this occasion I was just blind, which is refreshing. Doomlink displaying profound mental retardation is always welcome. This is what I mean, like, what's Zach gonna do, you know? Unless he's prompted to do it, he's not gonna change it. And for good reason, he's got other shit to worry about. How can you have only just realised that that this is Portable Third? Star Fury, you can sign up to Hunsterverse separately to any sort of link that I give you. Just type into Google Hunsterverse and then follow the sign up process. if you haven't already done that. Looks like I completely forgot to rest in the hot spring, and in addition to that, I forgot to bring max potions. That'll be something that I organise for the next hunt for sure. But I'll just have to make do with what I've got now. What did you think this was, Potato? Just out of interest, what did you think you were watching? Did you think this was 3 Ultimate? Like, when I was in Yukumo, right? When I was in Yukumo, what did you think? Did you think it was Generations Ultimate? You've been watching for a few quests now, which means that you've seen Yukumo Village a few times now. Well, not necessarily the village, but certainly the departure area. Forget what I was hunting. What about Yukumo, mate? What about the hot spring? I don't know. There's a certain level of... How can I describe it? There's a certain lack of attention that I can accept, but that's full on. That's alright. So, long story short, we can summarize it by saying that you were not paying attention at all. At all. A minimal level of attention was paid to what I was doing. But it still prompted you to subscribe at tier 2, for which I am grateful. Mesmerized. Okay. Happy to accept that. Watched the stream for like 20 minutes without realizing that I was playing Portable Third because he was allegedly mesmerized by my hair. Okay. Happy to accept that. Did this... Oh, for a second I thought this monster just moved. But no, Yuri has decided to solo confront the other Nibblesnarf. Isn't it interesting that you can actually see the poison from underneath the sand? Did you know that you could see that? I really want to show that further. He's not poisoned anymore, which is really frustrating, but I hope that you noticed that before I mentioned it. Because when this monster is poisoned, you can actually see the poison from underneath the sand, which until now, I did not know was possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been playing this game since it came out. And I didn't know that. It's fucking crazy. You learn something new in these games all the time. All the time. Of course, there's because so many years have passed, it's entirely possible that I just forgot. So maybe that's not a good point. It looks like Chrysos is going for the fish out, so I'm not going to do it as well. Looks like graphical user interface is also using a bow. A little bit too close there. You do have pretty bad critical distance if you're attacking literally from point blank range. Do you reckon we can kill him? Let's drop him here. Come on. Yeah! Excellent. Nicely done. Alright, let's see how far Yuri has gotten in whittling down this monster's health. I don't know if Yuri has changed his greatsword. He was previously using the Ukanlos greatsword. The thing is, even though that's an ice weapon, it's effective in almost every hunt. This happens to be a hunt where you're going to be benefited by the ice element. But I don't know about the choice for the previous hunt. I think he's just using this as his raw greatsword, which is okay. I would prefer the Diablo's Horn Sword, personally. Or the True Cutter Sword, which I used at the start of the recording. Although I'm not a huge fan of that. Anyone who's familiar with Lion's Bane from Try, the True Cutter Sword has the same stats. It's not very impressive. Basically, the Lion's Bane was your Western release version of the True Cutter Sword. I don't even remember the Lion's Bane roaring, but if it did do that, then that's lovely. Truly lovely. I distinctly remember, in 2010, being so disappointed that the Lion's Bane was in the game instead of the True Cutter Sword. It's funny the things that you allow to bother you. But, yeah, because there was a guy, his name was Mr. Bobo on YouTube, and he was basically my go-to for the Japanese content of Monster Hunter Tri. So back in 2009, he was uploading videos showcasing the stuff from Monster Hunter Tri, the Japanese version, before it came out in English. And so I was really excited for the True Cutter Sword, and obviously the Pirate J stuff. But no, not in the English version. Not in the international version. We got the Lion's Bane, which incidentally was ugly, and also not a good weapon. So yeah, Portable Third for me, very interestingly, is almost an opportunity to experience the Japanese Tri stuff. So I'm really glad that there was a Japanese... I'm really glad that there wasn't a Western release for Portable Third, because it almost let me experience the Japanese stuff from Tri in this game. Sounds strange, but... yeah, I was really hoping for an English translation back in those days, but... ultimately, it hasn't affected my enjoyment in this game in any way. It hasn't affected my accessibility. It definitely affected the accessibility of the game when it came out, for me, but... that was a long time ago. What's going on? I need an explanation for this. Is he breathing? I'm really confused. It looks like he's breathing smoke. And at a very fast pace. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Taking a quick smoke break before we haul his corpse off to the smithy. Okay. So, I don't know how corpses can take smoke breaks, but I suppose that's something for another day. Something for us to figure out on another occasion. Alright, we've got a DLC quest. Dengeki. It's going to be Giganox and Baleful Giganox. So next, I'm going to be using the Greatsword, according to the weapon types that were voted. So... oh, I do like this. Ugh. That's a good DLC weapon. But I'm not going to be using it, because it's not appropriate for this hunt. But I will. Instead. Well, here's the question. Do I use sharp? Yeah, I'll use this sharp greatsword. That's fine. Diablo's Horn Sword. We want a bit of fucking white sharpness with this, don't you think? It is for that, Yells. Well, unless we're both wrong. But yeah, that's my memory of it. Elrite. Dengeki. Am I blind or what's going on? It's not that. Okay, what's happening? So it's Giganox and Baleful Giganox, DLC 7-star. Well, should be here, right? Have I gone past it twice? It's not that. I know it's not that. Should be Standard Giganox and Baleful. So where is he? Where are these monsters? Am I going crazy, or what? Are you telling me this is a low rank one? I bet it's low rank. I'm pleased to say that I've got no fucking idea where this quest is. Surely I'm not blind, like I have not gone past it, have I? I've very clearly gone through every fucking quest that I have available to me. Oh, okay. Chrysos is helping me out here. He's obviously watching the live stream, thank God for that. He says it is too baleful, but the bot is wrong. Alright. It is double baleful. It's just, it's all kanji except for the no in the middle. It's kanji, kanji, no, kanji, kanji, kanji. I can't fucking read that shit. Do you know what I mean? Alright, let's do it. I'm actually going to drink something this time. If you don't use a female character, you're missing out. Like, come on, who wants to see some buff guy in a towel? I mean, maybe some people do. I don't. It's not my thing. That's why this was actually... So the very first game that I did a female character in was this game. So my original save... No. Is that right? No. So I'm remembering it wrong. My very first save that I ever did was for Ultimate named Countess, which you guys get to see every now and again. That was my first female save. My second save file in Portable Third, technically my third actually, was this one, which became my second female save file. My original save file for Portable Third was Lord Zor. Is that meant to be like a shushing emote? Oh no, it's a thinking. It's a... I'm assuming sort of like a Doom think. Very good. It's quite small though. AJ's got one with sunglasses. Well, we've got Doom Sync, although Doom Sync is a bit old now. Doom Sync was from years ago. That was from like 2021, when I got up without muting my mic, and then I went and did something in the sink in my ensuite bathroom. And the sound of the sink, because I had obviously my compressor active, the ambient noise was amplified, and so they could just hear the sink, and it became Doom Sink. So that was definitely a thing for a while. Shroomlink? Well, I don't think you'll be seeing that anytime soon, but possibly if I'm playing Mario, we could have a Shroomlink thing going on. If anyone brought smoke bombs, I apologize. Seriously. This is why I bring high-grade earplugs, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh! Alright, we're focusing on this one. Hopefully we can succeed in focusing on this one. Going to keep an eagle eye on this exact Giganox. To make sure that we don't lose our target. If one of them is enraged and one of them isn't, it is going to be easier to keep track. But if at any point they are the same, in other words, both enraged or both unenraged, it's going to be almost impossible to discern which one has been our focus from the start of the hunt. Ugh, Doomlink. Doomlink is when I disconnected my webcam by tossing something out of anger. That can be Doomlink. Because that happened in Monster Hunter Tri. Because I was doing a mushroom quest where I could not get the mushrooms that I needed. Because the nodes would not show up. And I spent about, I don't know, 15 minutes in that quest. It was shit. It was really bad. I am keeping track, by the way, of the one that we were fighting from the start. So if anyone is unsure as to... And I do largely refer to Chrysos when I say this, because he is watching the live stream as far as I'm aware. Okay, now it is less clear which one is the original, because they were glitching. I was about to say to Chrysos, hey, don't worry, the one I'm attacking is the original. Now I don't know. He's changed targets. Should I trust Chrysos or what? Basically, we had a terrible lag moment. Now I'm not entirely sure. I think this is the one, but seeing him change targets has got me all uncertain. Yes, if I have a daughter, she must be named Doomlink. This is true. I almost shudder to think of a scenario. Like, imagine I have a daughter and I bring her on live stream and you have to call her Doomlink. That actually makes me sick, thinking about that. That's like YouTubing gone wrong. That's just so bad. I don't want to imagine it. Well, I shielded it. But could you imagine that? Like, I just forcefully make my daughter a part of my live stream, and you have to call her Doomlinkle. Fuck. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, Goonlink. Always happy to accept that. Plenty of ideas being floated at the moment in the chat. I actually wanted some distance to be created between myself and these Giganoxes. That's why I shielded that. I feel a little bit overwhelmed. We're stuck two-manning this now. Okay, so the guy who... So, graphical user interface. He is not going to continue, because his connectivity is bad, apparently. I do not have life powders. I'm sorry, Chrysos. I can't help you right now. I hope that he's managed to stay on target with the original one. If he hasn't, then we're going to be here for ages. Oh, fuck. Stop it. No. I've become so confused now. I do not know which one the original one is. I feel like we're going to be here for a while. If we were able to consistently aim for the same one, it would be fine. Was it the smaller or the bigger one? I can see that this is the bigger one, now that I look. But I've got no idea which one we were aiming for previously. I think it was the bigger one. Most unfortunately, my second player is using a hunting horn, okay? So I'm not exactly benefiting from huge support. Yes, it's a support weapon type, but damage-wise, no. It's not supportive in that aspect. Thank God for high-grade earplugs, you know. That's a good flinch. Fuck. Keep aiming for the big one. Our target has now shifted to the big one, because I have now been able to discern the two Giganoxes from one another. One of them is bigger, so we're going to aim for the big one. Good knockdown. Ahahaha, we must have actually kept on target. We must have kept on target. Excellently done. I think, like, I had a vague memory that the one that we started fighting was that size. So, I'm glad that we did that. Nice work, seriously. Oh. My controller was not being very responsive for just a brief moment there. Don't know what happened. Just actually managed to get out of range of that. Barely. There we go, we've got an attack boost now. Good contribution. Managed to get a flinch, thank God for that. Of course, the next hunt will be a switch axe. Ow. Yeah, we'll be using Switch Axe the next hunt. We'll see how it goes. I don't even know how the next hunt is going to transpire. Because we don't really have a group right now. We've got myself and Chrysos. We'll see if that's good enough. Nicely done. We didn't even hit 10 minutes. I mean, do you know how dire that felt? This situation, this hunting experience, felt quite dire. But we finished it in less than 10 minutes. I mean, that's Portable Third in a nutshell. It's not a difficult game. The monster health in relation to the damage that that the hunters deal. Monster health in relation to hunter damage. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Apparently there's a new Zelda game where you play as Zelda. What is this? What's that CDI game called? Oh, so you got Faces of Evil. I can only remember Faces of Evil. The one where you play as Zelda and it's overhead 3D. That was so bad. I can't remember what it's called now. It's apparently called Echoes of Wisdom. That's weird. But yeah, the last game that you played as Zelda was literally that CDI Zelda. Which was terrible. I think it was called Zelda's Adventure, wasn't it? It was really fucking bad. Like, really, really bad. And so expensive at the time. Yeah, it was literally The Legend of Zelda. Well, it was The Legend of Zelda, Zelda's Adventure, I think. Yeah, Faces of Evil, Wand of Gamelon, and Zelda's Adventure. I think those were the three. AJ reminded me of Wand of Gamelon. iPad. It's a strange name. iPad. Okay. Alright. The quest we've been given is Kurapeko in the Misty Peaks. Space at Huntering 3 cannot really join us, but that's alright. Life goes on for him. Switch axe. God, here we go. Amber Hoarfrost. Yells is being attacked. Yes, you can of course join the hunts. Because this guy is space, like he can't actually join, right? And he's going to have to find that out the hard way, if necessary. The hard way being getting kicked. So we've got Kurapeko bird hunting. What is the one in the Misty Peaks? Is it this one? No? Let's do this one. Fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna find the one from the Misty Peaks. You've got to be kidding me. Alright. I am going to visit the bathroom, and I'll be back in a moment. I'm back. No, I'm not interested in the new Zelda game. Apparently the combat system is different according to what has been described by AJ and Potato in the chat. No, I'm not interested in it at all. Give me a game that's like the Minish Cap, but not the Minish Cap, and I'll fucking play it. Until you give me that, not interested. To me, I think if Nintendo could accept that pixel art is the peak experience of a top-down Zelda game, they're not going to make something that interests me. And I'm happy to report, with absolutely no hesitation, that the art style of Link's Awakening Remake is of no interest to me at all. It doesn't mean the game is bad, but why would I play a remake with a new art style? And based on the description of this game where you play as Zelda, the gameplay is not something that I'm interested in either, because they've changed the format, so... Well, I don't mind Seasons and Ages, because, I mean, you can describe them as being very similar games to that of Link's Awakening, but obviously it didn't change anything significantly. It was still the pixel art that I enjoyed, and yeah, they're good games. I've got the original cartridges of both, and I need to play them again soon. I haven't played them recently, but yeah. You obviously had General Onox and Viran as your final bosses. And the similarities between both games I can't really remember anymore. It's been far too long. Far, far too long. It's going back to my childhood, so... Yeah, I just seem to remember the was it the Maku tree? Some shit like that? I don't know. It was definitely a tree that was not the Deku tree, but was some other fucking tree. Yeah, I'm definitely a huge Zelda player. Just haven't really played recently. Speaking of which, I am planning to do Wind Waker again on my channel sometime soon. I don't know when, but it will happen. Sorry, bear with me. Spilt a small amount of wine on myself. Well, I have absolutely no need, Potato, to finish Skyward Sword. Breath of the Wild, yes, maybe. Maybe Breath of the Wild I should try to finish, but... Skyward Sword is absolutely... Like, there's a reason why that's on hold, right? I will occasionally record Skyward Sword, but it remains on hold, because my recordings are so infrequent for it that it's not worth referring to that as being in progress. So... I do have Motion Plus on the Wii. I've actually got a Skyward Sword Wiimote. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a gold Wiimote, a gold nunchuck, and my Wiimote has the Triforce on it. And that's it though. It's my gold Wiimote. Ugh. Yes, I've got the condom on it. I need the condom on it, otherwise it's not safe. It's actually mainly to... It's not because... So, obviously, if we go back to the history of the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Wii did not originally give you those protective things. It's because people kept on throwing their Wii remote at the TV that Nintendo was like, okay, we should actually include a protective thing for the Wiimote. The reason why I have it on this Wiimote is because it's a special Wiimote, you know? Like, it's a really nice one. So I actually want to protect the Wiimote itself. I'm not worried about throwing it on anything. It's just, I consider it to be like how you would have a phone case on your phone to keep it protected. Similar idea. That's the reason why I have a condom on it. Well, P-Berry, you can take risks as much as you want, but I'm not going to be peer pressured into going unprotected with my golden dick. Really? You think they feel uncomfortable? Really? I don't know. Maybe you're a more tactile person than I am. I don't give a shit. Like, the sensation of this thing in my hand with the protective thing on versus not, like, I couldn't care. Like, I couldn't give a shit. So, I'm obviously not as tactile as you are. But yeah, some people are very specific about the feel of things in their hand. Can be a huge deal for some people. Not for me. Not at all. So there is another monster. I'm not sure what it is, but it's probably a Roggy, isn't it? What sort of rough gaming session are you having with a Wii remote that would make that plastic thing rough on the hand? This is some fucking crazy Wii golf session that you're engaging in. Well, I was never a Smash player. I never played Smash. I was never interested in that. The only Smash game that I ever played was Smash 64. That was it. The enthusiasm for Smash, I never, ever, ever, ever was able to understand. Never have, never will understand the enthusiasm behind Smash. Probably because I didn't play it. That's probably most of the reason, but... The thing with being a Zelda player as a kid was that I would automatically be surrounded by people who were very enthusiastic about Nintendo games. And consequently, I would be surrounded by people who were really, really emphatically attracted to Smash. I never had that bug. I think it's because I've always been very dedicated to Zelda specifically. And yes, you can play as Link in pretty much all the Smash games as far as I'm aware. But I don't know. Apparently Mario Baseball was a sweaty time. You want to know what a sweaty time was? Mario Kart Wii. I used to sweat. But I had the Wii wheel, I was cool. I had my gold Wii wheel, fucking 3 stars, or was it 4 stars? Whatever the max was, I was that. And my gold Wii wheel with X number of stars, and I was the king of Mario Kart Wii. But I used to get far too serious about that game. I was much too serious. God, you'd have to film me playing that shit with my Wii wheel suspended in midair, with me very seriously driving. Ugh. It would make for something very funny to witness. But alright. Next time. Rock Slide, Volvidon. No fucking way! Let's find a quest that has Volvidon included, but not just Volvidon on his own. That's stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. Come on. Maybe that? Let's do this. Much to fear. I like the idea of that. Common weakness? Not really. Let's go for a raw weapon. Yes, Citra can be used on Android. But I have no idea how to set it up, so don't look for advice from me. A raw weapon of some kind. How about longsword? Tessaiga. Gotta bring Tessaiga. Come on. It's some Inuyasha shit. I don't know. I think so, anyway. I don't know anything about Inuyasha, only that it was huge when I first got into anime, and I had no interest in watching it. Because it was some girly guy with big fluffy white hair and animal ears. I thought it was dumb. Although I was quite young. What am I doing with myself? I'm doing... That's right. We're doing this. I'm aware of Akira. Or at least I'm aware of the original 70s anime. But... no, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about it, and I haven't watched it, no. Are we waiting for a 4th? I'm not too sure. Looks like Star Fury has managed to get himself into Hunsterverse, which is good. Good on him. Let's just assume that this is the group. Well, believe it or not, my first anime was actually Astro Boy. Rented it from the video store. back in the early 2000s, and yeah, that was quite... I don't know what it would have been. Maybe it was the first episode. For me at that time, I'm happy to say I had a fairly sheltered upbringing. That was quite a lot for me. It didn't upset me a lot, but it was a little bit too much for me at that time. Whatever it would have been, I don't know if the word is scary, I don't know if the word is... I don't know what the word is, but whatever it was too much. Because I was not... I did not take well to it. Confronting, I think, is the word. I think it was too confronting at the time. No, I have not watched Pluto. I really should watch Astro Boy again, though. I should reconnect with that old experience that I had. Aha. Good knockdown. But yeah, it's funny, like, I've always said that my first anime was One Piece. Which is kind of true in the sense that One Piece was the first... no, sorry. My first anime that I watched knowing that it was anime was probably either Code Geass or, you know, like by the time I was on the internet in 2006, I had an understanding of what anime was. And so, you know, I was watching the stuff that was airing at the time. But... yeah, so Code Geass, Death Note, Black Lagoon, etc. Among other things, you know, you had Suzumiya Haruhi, you had a lot of things. Shakugan no Shana, Fate Stay Night, lots of stuff. So by that point, I knew what anime was. But One Piece I didn't really know was anime because they used to air on television in Australia. And also, I didn't really know that Astro Boy was anime. To me, it was just a cartoon, which I rented one day. But it was before I understood what anime was and what Japanese culture was. I had no idea, really. And it was interesting. For me, it was quite confronting to watch Astro Boy at that age. Would have been about 7 or 8 at the time. And yeah. I didn't really watch. I suspect, like, look, I don't even know how to describe what it was that bothered me at a young age, because I don't remember it very well. I just remember it being confronting compared to what I would watch on television in those days. You know? So I can't even pin down a theme. I'd have to watch it again to be able to pin it down. But whatever it was confronting, so... I suspect it's because what you would... I shouldn't even say this. I was about to say that, depending on what you grow up with, for every generation of person, you will be exposed to different things, but it's not quite the same, because growing up I was exposed to cartoons of the 30s right through to the 60s and 70s. You know, and that was courtesy of the video rental store, you know. I used to rent Looney Tunes, and even more recent cartoons like Wacky Races, for example, you know. So basically, 70s through to the 30s. That's what I grew up on. But watching Astro Boy, which was from the 60s, that was quite uniquely confronting. So in other words, I feel like I had grown up on stuff for kids, but Astro Boy almost seemed like it was for kids, but it wasn't. Or at least it was for older kids than I was at that time, despite how it may have appeared. So that was my first introduction to anime not quite being what it seems. That's probably a good way of describing it. But yeah, like I grew up on all of the old, whether it's Tom and Jerry, all of that sort of 1930s to 1960s cartoons. That was my childhood. And I also watched old Disney movies. So Pinocchio, Treasure Island, things like that. Those two examples being quite distinct from one another because one was with actual actors and one was animated, but both were quite dark in their themes in many ways. But yeah, so I would say that my reaction to Astro Boy was unique, possibly because that's how Japanese kids were brought up. That was the sort of thing they were exposed to. But yeah, I should definitely delve into that world a little bit more. I should watch Astro Boy a little bit more. And give Pluto a try. So we've killed 2 out of, 4 monsters, it turns out. Apparently there's another Volvidon hanging around. Alright, we've got another Volvidon to kill. He's over in Area 10, ladies and gentlemen. And then we've also got Sandbarroth, who will presumably appear in this location once this Volvidon is dead. You're travelling a lot of distance. Quite frankly, I'd rather you stayed within my range. Oh god. Yeah, there's no way I was going to be able to get out of the way of that. One thing that I'm very excited about, by the way, is the Ranma Half remake. Oh, so excited for it because it looks so good. The Ranma remake looks so good. I'm so excited for it because it has all of the original voice actors, for the most part, and they sound the same. Like, Ranma is from, 25 years ago. And the voice actors just sound the same. They perform their roles for those characters in the same way. And the anime looks so good. Exact same style, but with modern standards. And I have to tell you, I love cell art. I absolutely love cell art. And just the analog nature of old anime. I love it to death, but God. I love the art style of Ranma. And I'm really excited to see that remake. Because it looks really well done. Really well done. So, yeah, well, obviously, well, the old man and the panda were the same person So, yeah, they were definitely a memorable aspect to Rama. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that remake. Very awkward pour, it has to be said. There you go. I just think it's really amazing that you can fast forward 25 years and these people can perform the roles in the same way that they did back then. They almost sound unchanged. It's incredible. But I think what blows my mind is that the audio production is so different. Yeah, the video production is definitely completely different. But because of my background in audio, I'm much more sensitive to that than your average person would be, and it is incredible to hear the same voices, but with modern audio recording technology. It's really interesting. That's a terrible combo. But yeah, Ranma being remade, I mean, I know that Urusei Yatsura got a remake. I wasn't as keen on that. I don't know why. I think it was because I hadn't properly watched Urusei Yatsura. I was aware of it, had always intended to watch it, but never got around to it. And was a little bit cynical about the remake because I wasn't familiar with the original. But because I was familiar with Ranma, I looked at the remake for that, and that was really impressive to me, that it was so well done. So yeah, maybe I should give Urusei Yatsura a try. I mean, I'll watch the original first, because that's important to me. Oh god. That was a good launching attack. Chrysos is pinging for an apology, but that's okay. You are forgiven. Just trying to get my charge all the way up. It's very hard. Ah, very good. I'll be able to get this completed. There you go. And goodbye. Nicely done. Alrighty. This will actually conclude my Portable Third recording. I think we had a pretty good run. Oh yeah. Look at this sword with the red charge. Pretty cool. I just like swords that are different when you sheathe them versus when you unsheathe them. I like that. Just a small enjoyment. Not that big of a deal. But sometimes small things can be immensely pleasurable. Well, Potato, I grew up with Devilman. And Violence Jack. I still haven't watched Devilman Crybaby. I do intend to watch it. I was just turned off by it because it was Netflix. You know, I grew up with Devilman being so alternative, so underground, so cult, that the idea of Devilman getting a Netflix series, I just rolled my eyes and thought, no, fuck it, what a joke. But, yeah, I do want to try it at some point. I have no doubt that it's bleak. Because, obviously, the original Devilman anime was just a joke. And I watch it as a joke. But, yeah, I feel like the 80s OVAs and then, obviously, what was it? Weirdly, I can only remember the English name. On the Apocalypse of Devilman. I think it was Deburuman Mokushiroku, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah, those were obviously more intense. So, having watched those, definitely I can imagine Crybaby being more intense. I don't know why they went with that title. I think that's a stupid title, but... Anyway. I thank you all for watching. I will see you next time I'm recording Monster Hunter or anything else you'd like to watch. I bid you all farewell for now. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.